In this video, I'll talk about leaky ReLU functions. So without wasting any further time, let's get started by importing the necessary modules. If you recollect from my previous video, one of the advantage of using a ReLU function is that it is sparsely activated. Since ReLU is 0 for all negative inputs, it's likely for any given unit to not be activated at all. With such an amazing advantage, there comes a disadvantage as well. The disadvantage for being 0 for negative value gives rise to a problem called as dying ReLU. A ReLU neuron is dead if it's stuck in the negative side and always outputs a 0 value. What happens because of this? Because of this, the gradient of ReLU in the negative range is also 0. So once a neuron gets negative, it is very unlikely for it to recover and actually help in the backpropagation update stage, wherein it would kind of add any significant change to the overall weight vectors. Such neurons don't help in reaching the optimum weights as well. So over time, we may end up with a large part of the network doing nothing. Before I jump on to explain what leaky ReLU does differently as compared to the normal ReLU function, let's generate 100 values between the range of -10 to 10. Let me run the cell. I've directly copied the ReLU function from the previous video. So let me run the cell to import the ReLU function. Now when you consider the ReLU function as well as the leaky ReLU function, the positive direction, that is when you consider x values greater than 0, both of them are identical in nature. In case of leaky ReLU, when your x values are less than 0, your output is basically the x value multiplied with a constant term. In case of a leaky ReLU function, the constant value is chosen to be 0.01. And whatever characteristics that I've mentioned about leaky ReLU is what is implemented in this function. So let me move forward and import the cell in memory. Given my two functions are ready, my input values between -10 and 10 are ready. Let me create a data frame which will have x values, the leaky ReLU values, as well as the ReLU values. So let me run this. Now the data frame is generated with x values, the leaky ReLU values, and the ReLU values. Let's move forward and visualize the results in form of a plot. So this plot contains the visualization of the ReLU function as well as the leaky ReLU functions. The ReLU functions are denoted by the red dots and the leaky ReLU functions are denoted by the blue dots. If you look at the positive direction, that is when x is greater than 0, both the plots seem to overlap with each other. But you can see an evident difference when you look at the negative direction of x. So let me zoom into this region. So let me reiterate, the red dots signify the ReLU output and the blue dots signify the leaky ReLU output. Given that we are multiplying the negative x values with a constant term, that is 0.01, you see that is depicted by the blue dots. Now you might have an obvious question that how does this actually solve the dying ReLU problem? In order to explain how this actually solves the dying ReLU problem, I'll go to the derivative version of both the graphs. So let's move forward. I'm using the same function of the derivative of ReLU that I used in the previous video. Feel free to check out the video if you have any queries regarding that. So let me run this cell to import this function in memory. The only change to the derivative of the ReLU function comes in the negative direction of x. When you consider the positive direction of x, the derivative of ReLU is 1. But when you consider the negative direction, here since we've added a small multiplication term, that is the value that you would observe in the negative direction of x when you consider the derivative of leaky ReLU. So let me run this cell, and this actually implements whatever theory that I've just mentioned so far. So let me run the cell. The next thing that I do is I generate a data frame df which contains the values of x, the leaky ReLU values, the ReLU values, and the derivative of both of them. So let me run the cell. Let me also move forward and visualize both the derivatives that we have in hand. So this is the output of both the ReLU derivative function as well as the leaky ReLU derivative function. The positive direction of x, there is literally no difference between the two. The difference comes in when you look at the negative direction of x. So let me zoom into this region. As you can clearly see, the derivative of ReLU is basically 0. So essentially this is the major cause of the dying ReLU problem. This is overcome by adding that small constant term that we multiplied in the negative direction. So it keeps the slope above 0. Although it is a very small value, but it still prevents the node from entering the dying ReLU state. So this is why your leaky ReLU is kind of advantageous when you want to avoid the dying ReLU problem. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you do like the content that I post on my channel, it would be really helpful if you can press the subscribe button and also press the bell icon to be notified for future amazing videos. Thank you so much for watching the video.